Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 8th of November 2018. So welcome everyone, welcome to this Thursday's afternoon session where we're going to have a look at a few instruments, a few of the charts. But before we start doing that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. Now, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay guys, now then, let's not waste any more of our time and let's jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on is the S&P 500 here. Now yesterday, of course, you probably are aware, and for those who have traded, who are trading indices, so yesterday was quite a good day for the US indices, and we saw them rallying here higher. But looking at this this S&P chart, S&P 500 chart, of course, we can see that it kind of got held here by this quite important area here of resistance near the 2816 zone. Now, in one of my previous videos, I was talking about this potential move here. If we get a nice break here above this level here, above the 2753, this could potentially open the path towards the a test of the psychological 2800, yeah. And if that doesn't hold, well, we could then aim for the 2816 zone. As you can see, 2816, 17, approximately there. As you can see, this is what happened. It went nicely higher here, managed to reach the area here just slightly below the 2817 zone, certainly, and this is where it got held. We could potentially expect a bit of correction here to the downside, but to be honest, be very careful here and keep your eyes on the 2800, because this could now play out as a very nice area of support. So in a way, let me just kind of drag this arrow a little bit higher here. It could play out as a nice support if we see this this index retracing a little bit back down here. But like I said, keep your eyes on the 2800, because it also coincides here with the 50 and the 100 EMAs here, shown as the red and the green lines respectively. So this could be a possibility if, let's say, if it continues to hold, if the psychological 2800 continues to hold. Of course, keep your eyes on this high level, this 2817 zone. If we get a nice pop here through the upside here, this could, like I said, open the path towards higher levels. In a way, we could then target the level here, a nice good potential area of resistance at around 2865, marked here by the lows of the 7th of September. But if that doesn't hold, there is a slightly better one here at around 2885 mark, and as you can see, it also acts as a nice area of support here, also acted as a good resistance. So we had some activity around that level, around the 2885. So in a way, this could be the next area to watch if this, of course, continues pushing higher above the 2817 zone. So this is what to watch out on the upside. On the downside, well, for us, even if, let's say, this retraces back down here, and let's say moves here towards the test of the 2753 zone, still, if it's not able to break through this, or let's say close below that area, still this could be looking quite bullish. I mean, we could see maybe a retracement back to the back up here again, if of course this goes down. So in a way, we could see this as a nice bouncing ground for the bulls to step in and push the index higher again. But for now, judging by the picture that we're seeing here on the daily chart, it seems that we could potentially see maybe a bit of a correction here, a little small one, but the 2800 is the area to watch here, because if it's going to struggle to overcome it, then I mean, we could see that rebound back up here, slightly even higher than before actually reaching this 2753. Now the 2753 27.53 zone is kind of also seen as a nice breaking point here as well. In a way, it's like if we get a nice close here below this, and as well below the 200 EMA, which also kind of is coinciding with this level. Now this could be a warning signal for the bulls, and we could see further declines here, potentially maybe aiming for the 27.11 zone, or even actually towards the 26.92 area, which was marked here by the low of the 28th of June. So quite an important level. Certainly, of course, do keep in mind that we do have the psychological 2700 here in between these, but like I said, these are at the moment looking quite important here, these levels. So yep, watch out for those, but only if we get a nice close here on the daily candle below the 27.53 zone. Jumping into one commodity or precious metal or platinum, basically this one is now retracing slightly. We saw it testing this area here at around 878. I was talking about this level here in one of my previous videos where I was discussing platinum. Certainly we managed to reach that nicely here, and now we're retracing and moving a little bit lower. As long as we remain above this 200 EMA, I mean, we're going to be quite bullish on this one, because like I said, this could act as a nice area of support here, and from which it could reverse and push high back up again. Certainly for those who are more on the conservative side, you could in a way wait until this precious metal kind of gets towards the 878, and if there will be signs of potential breaking here, then yep, this is where you could potentially step in here and drive the and kind of aim for the higher levels, like the 912.55, which was marked here by the high of the 14th of June. Now, given that it's still kind of above this, if let's say if it drops below here, and if it drops below this 200 EMA, still kind of not all is lost for the bulls, but kind of we would be a bit more cautious, let's say. But still, like I said, not all is lost for the bulls, just because we do have this very short term upside support line here running from the lows of the 4th of September. In a way, this is where it could drive the bears, kind of if this precious metal drops below the 200 EMA, the bears could continue driving this one a little bit lower here. The next potential area to watch here of support would be the 850 zone, approximately there, of course, and this is also where it could test this short-term upside support line. So in a way, we can put it that way, that as long as it remains above this short-term upside support line, we'll aim for higher levels. Of course, let's not forget this one is a little bit of a tentative one, so for a better confirmation of the downside, let's say, you could in a way start looking at a break first here initially. Of course, you could start kind of worrying for the bulls here if we get a break below the 850 zone. But if this actually drops further here and goes below the 824, or even actually the 818.20 zone, now this is where you could start looking at lower levels here, potentially aiming for the of course the psychological 800 level, but slightly below that we do have the 792.65 area, approximately there, of course, which was marked here by the lows of the 17th of September. Now, this could be a possible scenario as well, but for now, judging like what we're seeing here today, there is a good chance that this could continue pushing higher, and like I said, a nice good break above the 878 zone could potentially confirm that idea here, where we could see a further acceleration of the price. Even like I said, even if it declines here further, still keep an eye on this short-term tentative upside support line, and of course this 850 zone, which both of them could act in a way as good bouncing areas as well. So for now, keep this idea in your head, and also keep an eye on the 878 zone. Jumping into a few pairs now, Aussie yen. Now this one is just on fire, and I mean, continues to travel higher above the steep steep short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 26th of October. Now we can only try to guess where this next potential strong resistance area could be here. Now you're looking at this, I mean, as you can see, it is now breaking the key important resistance here near the 82.80. If we try to find the next potential area of resistance here, this could be it. This could be the 83.25 zone, approximately there. Let me just quickly adjust the level. So approximately this was marked here near the highs of the 31st of July. So if this momentum is going to remain here, and we will see this one traveling further higher here, like I said, keep your eyes on the 83.25. But to be honest, if let me just jump into a 4-hour chart on this one quickly and just see what's happening. You see that in a way, what we're seeing here is that there is a bit of a loss of momentum happening here. We could in a way see a bit of a retracement at some point to the downside. But for now, be very careful, and in a way you could keep an eye on this 82.80 zone that I was talking about, because a nice good drop below that could potentially confirm this idea of seeing a bit of a correction here to the downside, where potentially, of course, if this continues dropping, we could in a way test this short-term upside support line, from which kind of, if it doesn't break here, and if we don't if it continues to hold, I mean, this could be a perfect opportunity for the bulls to step in again and drive this one higher, maybe towards the same 83.25 level that I was just talking about. But that's of course in the scenario if we don't reach it at any point here soon, and we see a break below the 82.80 zone. So for now, be very careful here. We are a bit overextended here on this on this pair, but nevertheless, I mean, we could maybe see this one traveling further up here. Jumping into EURGBP here. Now this one is a very interesting one, and looking at the daily chart first, you can see we had a nice sharp decline here since the 31st from the 31st of October, where the pair managed to drop slightly below the 87 zone, but actually quickly retraced back. And as you can see now, the 87 zone kind of becomes the line to watch, because you can see that the bodies of the daily candles were never kind of never closed below that. So, and now it's acting as a nice bouncing ground from which EURGBP is kind of pushing higher now, breaking this key area of resistance, which previously was a nice area of support. Let me just jump into a 4-hour chart just to kind of show you this. So this area here, the 0.8720, acted as a nice area of support here in the past on the 10th of October. Also, it kind of slightly held the rate from moving lower here on the 6th of November, but that changed on the 7th. We got a nice break, and now today we're seeing this reversal here back above this level. So in a way, this 0.8720 becomes another one, and also an important one to watch. If we're gonna stay here above this level today, then I mean, there is a good chance we could see this one correcting back to the upside here, potentially aiming for the let me just actually adjust a few levels here, potentially aiming for this little high here around the 0.8745 mark. But if that doesn't hold, I mean, we could see this one traveling further up here towards this area of potential resistance near the 0.88 zone, so which was marked here by the high of the 2nd of November. So could be a nice possible test here as well. But for all these higher levels, we need to see first, we need to see a nice good close here today on today's daily candle above the 0.8720 zone. So keep your eyes on that one. Like I said, we could potentially squeeze a nice trade here, and especially if we get a nice break above the 0.8745, because this could be a possible better confirmation of the pair kind of trying to push higher here towards the 0.88 zone. On the downside, if suddenly this reverses and drops below the 0.87 level, keep your eyes, of course, on this this undershoot that we had today, and that was approximately near the 0.8690, so not far from the 0.87 level. So in a way, if all these start to break, what we're going to keep an eye on, of course, we're going to keep an eye on the 0.8680 then, which was marked here by the low seen around the 26th of April. But if that doesn't hold, well, it could be opening the path towards even bigger declines here towards the 0.8620 zone marked here by the low of the 17th of April. So keep your eyes on that one. In a way, this 0.8620 was the lowest point of April. So yep, potentially good level to watch, but again, only if we get a nice drop here below the 0.87 level. Okay guys, jumping into one more last pair, looking at this USDCHF. Now, certainly this is quite an interesting pair because we saw this decline here. This is a daily chart, by the way, and yesterday we saw this decline, sharp decline here, where the pair managed to go down and test the 0.9960 zone. But slightly, of course, below that, but quickly retraced back and closed the day here near the $1 mark, just of course slightly above that. But now this is where it continues to trade. Not much activity here happening today, but nevertheless, keep your eyes on it because certainly we had a nice rally here to the upside. You can see that it kind of reversed here to the downside on the 31st of October. It kind of continues to create lower highs here, and looking at this here, keep your eyes on this little downside resistance line. Let me just quickly put that on the chart. Oh, there we go, slightly in the way. Oh no, there we go. Okay, I do apologize guys for this a little bit. There we go. So keep your eyes on this little downside resistance line, basically, which is marking these lower highs here that the pair keeps making. And as you can see today, we also tested this downside resistance line, from which it kind of trying to now push back down here, it seems like that. But of course the day is not finished yet, and we can also see that on looking at this 4-hour chart, the pair is resting currently on this 50 EMA together with the 21 EMA. Let's see how that performs. But now what we're going to keep an eye on here is if we're going to get a nice pop here through this downside resistance line, then we're going to keep a close eye on the 1.007 level, because then if we get a nice pop here above this level, then we're going to aim for much higher levels, at least towards the previous levels here that we saw around the 31st of October. But if this doesn't break here and we see the pair moving lower, for us, let's say, to get more comfortable with the downside, we would need to see a nice good drop here below the 0.9960 level here now, where we could then aim for levels like the 0.9916 or even the 0.9850 mark, approximately there, which held the rate nicely from dropping further here on around the mid-October. So keep your eyes on that one, guys. It's a very interesting pair, very close to this little short-term downside resistance line. Let's see if it continues to make these lower highs here on the chart. So okay guys, thank you very much for watching and listening, and I hope you found it useful. And thank you if you want to join me tomorrow morning, and that's 6 o'clock GMT time, 7 o'clock British Summer Time. But for now, I hope you have a fantastic evening, and bye for now. Bye bye.